Hi, I'm Ruth Richards, Intuitive Mindset Mentor and Intuitive Oracle Reader, and welcome to this week's Intuition Insight vlog for week of 23rd of May, where I give my answer to the question, what is intuition? I'm going to start with a dictionary definition from the Concise Oxford Dictionary, and it says three things about intuition. It is immediate apprehension by the mind without reasoning, immediate apprehension by a sense, or immediate insight. And that's a pretty good definition. But here's the challenge. Because we spend so much time in our heads, and as humans we can experience things like second guessing and imposter syndrome, and we get caught up in all the limiting beliefs we've collected on our path so far. How do we know that these thoughts without reasoning are intuition and not our conscious mind or our ego? I believe that there is reasoning behind intuition, but it's just not reasoning we understand at the time it happens. So let's think about a choice that you might have to make and how your conscious mind and your intuition might work at this. Let's say that choice is about either staying in your current job, where you get paid every month and have some level of security, or going out on your own and becoming self-employed. It's a big decision, and it might impact not just you but other people in your life. So let's start with the conscious, analytical and rational part of ourselves and what it might do. And it's the part of us I generally associate with the ego. It might start making a pros and cons list, and I love a list. Despite being intuitive, I do love a list. The pros might be stay in the job because you get paid regularly, you know the bills are covered, you know how much money you have coming in every month. And for the conscious analytical part, it might be a con to start becoming self-employed because the timing is wrong. We're coming out of a pandemic, inflation is increasing. What if there was a recession? It can go on and on. And our so-called rational, analytical, conscious thoughts most of the time go to the worst case scenario. What if the worst happens? What if it didn't work? What if I didn't make money? What if? And that's okay because that's an important part of forming our thinking. In decision making, we think about the what ifs and the worst case scenario. But that is not your intuition. So, as well as thinking about the pros and cons, start feeling. How does it feel to stay in this job with a secure salary? You may think the pay is great, but the job is draining your soul. And how would it feel to be self-employed? Maybe it feels just too scary to do it right now and it's not the right time. Or maybe you feel freedom, liberation and joy at not being told what to do. And it shows us that as humans it's possible to have contradictory views. That, for example, the conscious mind says it would be silly to leave a well-paid job, but the intuitive heart and soul voice says, oh, just think how free it would be to do what you wanted. So our conscious mind and our intuitive voice, our feelings, can be very different, but both are important pieces of information when making any decision. And remember, what I'm advocating here is that the intuitive voice is just as important as the conscious, rational, analytical thinking that we do. So if the conscious piece of us is coming from our minds and it's something we're consciously working through, the intuitive voice is often in your heart centre or in your soul. As we've heard, it's the voice that does not require conscious reasoning. I believe it's the voice that wants you to fulfil your potential, to live your dream. It's the part of you in the voice that has no concern about second guessing or imposter syndrome. It doesn't believe we have limits and limiting beliefs. It has no care for what society, family or friends think you should do. It only wants you to do what brings you joy. It wants you to do what you were put on this planet to do. Doesn't that sound fabulous? But because our conscious mind is so incredibly strong and we've been trained to use it since we went to school, it's running the psychological and mental show most of the time. It can be hard to hear that intuitive voice inside you. Now, quiet time and meditation, when you can calm the conscious voice, can help. An oracle reading can help, daydreaming can help. Anything that moves you away from your conscious thinking can help you listen to that voice. And we have lost the ease of which, our grandparents and great great grandparents and further back could easily connect to this inner voice. And why? Well, because for centuries, if not millennia, this voice has had no value in society. And as the quote attributed to Albert Einstein goes, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind a faithful servant. We have created a society that honours the servant and has forgotten the gift. Our life's decisions should also come from that inner place of heart and soul, the intuitive voice within us, and how we take action on our heartfelt intuitive decisions should be the realm of the conscious mind. That's how it should be. Your heart and soul doesn't need to have conscious reasoning. That's not its job. Its job is to help show you what are the things in life that bring you absolute joy and happiness. But our society thinks every personal decision we make has to be consciously thought out and rationally explained. Now, if you're in government and you're running the country and you're doing things like that, then yeah, it probably does. But for most of us, for our day-to-day happiness, our heart and soul should be allowed to express themselves through that inner intuitive voice. So let me take you back to the definition of intuition, about immediate apprehension without any conscious reasoning. So how do we know something is intuition? Well, I call it a download, and this is kind of how it works for me. A download, an intuitive download, is a thought or something that comes into my mind from completely out of the blue. And what I mean by out of the blue is I wasn't even thinking about that thing or any issue related to the thought, insight or idea that came to me. It just came out of nowhere. And if you've ever woken up at 3 a.m. and had the best idea ever for Dragon's Den, that's your intuition working. But make sure you make a note of it, because I'm fairly sure many of the world's best ideas have been lost because at 3 a.m. we thought, oh, I'll remember that in the morning. And then in the morning you wake up and you have a feeling you have this amazing idea, but you can't remember what it is. That to me is a download. It just comes to me. My intuition can also be a gut feeling. And gut feeling is the socially acceptable way to talk about intuition. How many times have you said, oh, I have a gut feeling, or my gut is telling me? The gut is an intricate and amazing part of the body and has been called a second brain. There's a lot going on there. Now, when I have a gut feeling, it's usually a contraction or a feeling of tightness in my lower abdomen. And that feeling usually tells me something isn't right. If I'm with other people, it means there is someone around me I don't resonate with, or whose vibration and frequency is impacting me negatively, and I need to move away from them. It used to happen to me a lot in my corporate career, in group situations, when someone was going to make a decision that wasn't going to work out. I just knew. The two other sensations that tell me intuition wants my attention are goosebumps and shivers. The goosebumps tend to be about reassurance that I'm doing the right thing, or if I'm working with a client, it tells me that they have had an insight that is absolutely right for them and they're being completely authentic and they are tuned into their intuition. The shivers down my back and often down the whole of my body are warning messages to get out of where I am and stop doing what I'm doing, and that's immediate. But for me, these downloads are usually great ideas, inspirations, or insights. It's usually something uplifting. And intuition, like emotions, feelings, and conscious thinking, is another information point. You get to choose whether you listen to your intuition or ignore it. Nothing bad usually happens when you ignore your intuition. It just means you have a different experience. But I know that when I'm deeply connected to my intuition and actively listening to it and follow the guidance it gives me, my life becomes easier. I live with very clear intention, I am in flow, and I feel empowered. And I would love you to feel that way too. So what is intuition? It's that deeper part of you that speaks for your heart and soul. It's that nagging little voice telling you there is something you were meant to do on this planet, something that can make you happy. There is a reason you are here and there is action you have to take. It's just that we are all a product of the society and conditioning around us. And we've forgotten this voice is there, and we've forgotten how to listen to it. You have intuition, it's just buried under all that conscious mind chatter. If what you've heard in this video resonates with you, then this week take some time to slow down, calm your mind, and listen to that intuitive inner voice. I often sit and look at the clouds, usually with a cuppa, or I meditate. Maybe you can get into the zone while exercising or doing some yoga. However you do it, make time to reconnect with that part of you this week and start your adventure to reclaim your intuition. And if you like this video and you want to find out more about me and what I do, check out the links below. You can find my book, Reclaim Your Intuition. I run a free group called the Intuition Lounge, and I have a membership community as well, the Intuition Circle. And I also do one-to-one bespoke mentoring programs. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. So that's me, Ruth Ann Richards, Intuitive Mindset Mentor. I'll see you next week. Bye.